Hey, this is Stu Schaefer, and I'm about to share 5 lies that are preventing you from losing weight. And if you understand these so you don't fall for them anymore, maybe even the reason why you've tried so hard and you haven't been able to lose weight and burn off body fat. The first example is of a client of mine named Susanna who lost over 30 pounds in just 12 weeks. When we corrected them, she was able to lose so much weight so quickly. The next case study is Hallie. Even she had started believing these lies, which had caused her to slowly gain weight over the years, and she was able to lose so much weight so quickly. So let's dive in and talk about each of these 5 lies, why they're a lie, and what to do instead. So number 1 is the calorie lie. And this lie is that you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, and the only way to do that is to reduce or cut calories. Now, this is probably one of the worst lies out there, and it's been there since the beginning of weight loss, okay? So what am I saying? Am I saying you can be in a calorie surplus, meaning you're eating more calories than you're burning and still lose weight? Well, yes and no, actually. Let's look at the 3 different options. You can be in a calorie surplus, which is where you're eating more than you burn. You can be in a calorie maintenance or equilibrium, where you're not losing weight, not gaining weight, you're just kind of stable. Or you can be in a calorie deficit, where you're burning more calories than you're taking in. Well, calories are just a measure of energy. Now, if in a calorie deficit, look, most of my clients, I would say 98% of my clients are in a calorie deficit. They're eating very little, but they're not losing weight. So is it possible to be in a calorie deficit and not lose weight? Yes, it is actually, because the body has certain safeguards. It can lower the thyroid, it can lower its metabolism, crank out certain hormones and enzymes that make it real difficult now for the body to lose weight. And this is the trap. If you lose weight by restricting calories, it's not if, but when your body will slow down and it'll become virtually impossible to lose weight. That's really the only pathway that there is if you're using the calorie method. If you understand that the body is more complex and you eat the right food at the right time in the right combination, and I've done previous lessons on that, many previous lessons on that, which you should check out. If you eat the right food at the right time in the right combination and create the right chemical reactions in the body, you won't have to do the calorie restriction method. And therefore, your body will never rebel against you and slow down and do all these things where then you can't lose weight anymore. This is why it's so important that you understand this, or find a professional who understands this, so that you can lose body fat, maintain your muscle, optimize your health, optimize your metabolism, optimize your thyroid function and your hormones, and you never fall into this trap. This is the biggest lie out there that causes the most amount of problems, plain and simple. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is that you can't eat carbs. Okay, carbs are bad. Now this is crazy. Okay, if you were talking to me 25 years ago, everyone would be saying, don't eat any fats and eat carbs and high carb diets, and they were in all the rage back then. And how can we go 180-degree loop? There's always the truth that lies in between. And so right now, everybody's saying how bad carbs are and that you shouldn't have carbs and you don't need carbs and carbs will make it harder to lose weight and this and that. And the truth is, when you don't use carbohydrates correctly, they can cause you to gain weight, but this is true with fats and even to some degree protein, okay? If you're not eating the right types, if you're not combining the right foods together, if you're not timing the foods correctly, this will absolutely throw your body out of whack. Let me explain the deal with carbs. There's certain types, okay? There's about 16 different types. And each different type of carbohydrate is going to have a different chemical reaction in your body. Now, there's different types of sugars. They go different places in the body. Some go to the liver. Some go into the bloodstream. Some replenish the muscles really easily, which is good. Some tend to be transported to the fat cells more easily, which is obviously not so good. But carbs are important. The key is if you understand the different types, okay, whether it's glucose or sucrose or fructose or lactose, whether it's a monosaccharide, real simple sugar, or a disaccharide, or a polysaccharide, which is a really complex carb. If you understand some of the differences, again, you can use them to speed up your body. Let me tell you what some of the good things that carbs will do for your body and help with fat loss. Number one is they'll help your thyroid function. Look, there's certain organs in your body that have to convert T4 to T3. And if they don't get enough carbohydrates, what happens is they run out of carbs or glycogen. And the ATP, or their little energy producing molecules, disappear. They go away. And so they can't make the conversion. So your thyroid drops, and then your metabolism drops, and then your energy drops. Carbs are very closely related to a hormone called leptin. And if the hormone is signaling your brain incorrectly, it'll cause your body to stop burning fat. If you can get the signal transported and communicating correctly, it'll cause you to burn more fat. So carbs can be very useful when you know how to use them. The key is this: you do need to eat the right type of carbs at the right time of day, and they have to be combined with the correct foods in order to create the right chemical reaction. Now, when you do that, this is when your body's going to release certain hormones and enzymes that will actually cause your body to burn fat. And at the same time, the food that you're eating, those carbs, those proteins that you're eating, and even the fat's not as much, but what will happen is your body will put those things in your muscles, in your liver, send them to your brain, put them in the cells so your cells can do something called the Krebs cycle, which is essentially your metabolism. But the fats that you eat will also be oxidized to some degree, won't necessarily be stored as fat either. And then your body can start tapping into your stored body fat and burn off that fat. So carbs are critical. And I think one of the dangerous lies is that you shouldn't be eating carbs. So when you don't have carbs, it can also be very stressful. Well, if you're a woman, especially if you're a woman over 40, your body can't handle that stress anymore. That can really crank up the cortisol, prevent you from burning fat. It requires a very delicate balance. All right, that's number 2. Lie number 3 is that you have to do high intensity training and all this cardio to burn fat. And I'll just tell you, that's not true. None of my clients do high intensity interval training. None of my clients do more than 30 minutes of any type of exercise per day. And my typical client will lose 20 to 30 pounds in 12 weeks. Now, you saw some pictures at the early part of this episode. When you do it correctly and your nutrition and your exercise match up, that's when you don't need any extreme type of exercise. And you don't need a lot of it. What you do need is the right actual type of exercise, whether it's weight training or cardio and what type, which exercises you're doing. You need the right intensity. Again, not too high, not too low. You need it in the sweet spot, and you need the correct amount, frequency amount, etc. And so again, not too much and not too little. With medicine, if you get a prescription, if you take too much, it can hurt you. If you don't take enough, it's not going to do its job. There's a prescription, an exact amount, a sweet spot, and that's exactly how food and exercise work. Not only do you need to get the right prescription or sweet spot with food, and then also the right prescription or sweet spot with the exercise, but the two need to match up so that they're both working together and they balance. If you're doing all this exercise and you're working your butt off, but then the food is not in sync, then it's all wasted. You're still not going to get great results. They all have to match up together. And when they do, that's when the magic happens, okay? So the lie is, hey, you got to do a ton of cardio to burn fat, or you got to do high intensity interval training. You don't have to do either of those. In fact, most of my clients, they make fun of me because they're like, this is boring. It's too easy. Yeah, okay. That's good. All right, I'd rather you do that. So that is lie number 3, all about the cardio. Let's look at lie number 4. This is the fasting lie. Oh, fasting is so good for weight loss. Look, I'm probably going to get some hate comments. I always do, but fasting is not the best or not even great for weight loss, okay? There are so many side effects to fasting. It's very stressful on your body, so it cranks up your adrenaline and your cortisol and your epinephrine and norepinephrine. It can cause you to have very low energy. It causes unstable blood sugar. When you're only eating a couple meals per day, you end up eating too much at once. The body has a real hard time processing that. A lot of times it can cause you to burn off muscle, which will slow down your metabolism. Fasting is not a very good long-term solution for weight loss. Now, I'm all for fasting a couple times a year to kind of cleanse and reset your body a little bit. Maybe cleanse out the liver, allow your body to burn through some of its glycogen reserves. It's something like that. Maybe help with emptying the gut so you can kind of reset that. But if I were doing a fast, I mean, I probably wouldn't even do it more than a day or two. And like I said, just a couple times a year. If you're trying to fast and you have this little eating window and you're trying to do these longer and longer fasts every single day, this really beats the body up over time. And a lot of women, what will happen is you might start doing fasting initially and get some pretty decent results. And you go, wow, I feel good and I'm losing weight. This is fantastic. What typically happens is over time, your body will adjust to that. Well, now just to maintain your weight, again, you don't have to eat very much. We talked about that when we talked about the calorie lie. So your metabolism kind of matches it. Well, okay, so you lost weight in the beginning. Now you're not losing weight. You're not hungry because your metabolism is slowed down. And so over time, if you were to look at it long term, your body is just kind of slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. You don't want that. Okay, you want to keep your metabolism and your body as fast as possible as long as you can. We've all met people in their 80s or older where, gosh, maybe they only eat for lunch, they eat like a teeny tiny little thing, and you look at it, you go, how can you just eat that little tiny thing and sustain yourself? Well, over time, their body has slowed down. Well, now they're not able to put enough nutrients in their body for their body to really function optimally, heal itself, and stay very healthy. That is so critical. Let's look at the fifth and final lie that you're being told, and that is all you need to do to lose weight is control your blood sugar. Well, that is one factor that can impact how your body burns fat, but again, it's only one. Now remember this, I'm going to tell you this, write this down, remember this, burn this into your brain. Okay, your body does not work in a vacuum. It is an ecosystem. Everything is affecting everything else. So you can't just reduce weight loss to one thing. Oh, it's calories, or oh, it's the carbs, or oh, it's the fasting, or the cardio, or the blood sugar. It doesn't work like that. Blood sugar is one element. It's an element that does impact weight loss. It's an element that will impact your health overall. But it's not the end-all be-all. There are people who will lose body fat and have wonderful health even though they have higher blood sugar. And you might be focused so hard on that you're missing some other things, and you're wondering, why am I still not losing weight? My blood sugar is stable. I'm keeping it low. What's the problem here? Now, if you keep your blood sugar too low, that's not good either. Your body will release certain hormones that may eat away at your muscle. Your energy might go down. You might not be able to sleep very well. In some cases, your digestion might suffer if your blood sugar runs too low. Your body might even eat away at your muscle. So it's key to have the blood sugar in the right zone. Well, generally, if you're going to look at what that would be, it'd be between 80 and 120. Even up during the day as you're eating, in the low hundreds is fantastic. If you have slightly elevated blood sugar through the day, I'm not talking about overnight, and I'm not talking about in a fasted state in the morning. I'm talking about during the day as you're eating. If your blood sugar is kind of running right around 100, that actually is really good. That's that's telling you that your body's releasing enough insulin to have a fat burning effect, to be shuttling around the proper nutrients to the proper areas of your body, like your muscles. But at the same time, you're also regulating everything so that your body can still burn fat, but your energy is going to be really high. Your brain concentration and clarity will be very high. A lot of your hormones will be in better balance there. So while blood sugar is a factor, it's not the factor. And so, yeah, you don't need to focus on getting it as low as possible and starving yourself or cutting out carbohydrates. That can be detrimental. And these 5 lies are so invasive that even health professionals will believe them, and they'll start gaining weight or they have trouble losing weight and they get confused. So if you're confused too, don't feel bad. Now, we're going to splash up a couple videos. I hope this has been really helpful, and I'll see you on the next video. All right, take care.